Hey listeners, welcome back to this episode of Spectacular Science. I'm your host Akshay. We're all made of leftover stardust. I know it sounds kind of crazy, right? But it's actually true. Everything on Earth, all humans, all plants, everything, even other planets, they're all made of leftover stardust. But how? Well, in this episode, I'm going to take you behind that science and uncover exactly why we're made of stardust and we have to thank stars and distant galaxies for our origins. I know it's really cool to think about it, but it's really mind blowing. Let's get right into this amazing, mind blowing, and stellar science. To understand how stars were made of stars, we first need to go back to the origins of our solar system and even the origins of the universe. When the universe first formed, it was just a bunch of gas and dust and materials lying around. But as gravity came in, it pulled all these materials together to form stars. Stars are giant balls of gas and dust, and they are the centers of solar systems in present day. In fact, our sun is a star. These stars have tons of gas and tons of energy, and they release all that energy through light and heat energy into space. And these stars play a huge role in actually creating life because we couldn't live without stars. But anyway, back to these stars. These stars, which are the centers of these solar systems with different planets around them, they convert materials. They're known as stellar factories because they convert materials that they take in or are made of, and they convert those materials into different materials. So, for example, they convert hydrogen, which is a gas, to helium, which is another gas. They're two different elements, and these stars, using all that heat, energy, and pressure inside the star, they convert that into different elements. And remember, these stars can be as massive as 5 times the size of the sun or can be as small as New York City, and all these stars still produce a lot of energy through this. But when these stars start to get older, they kind of fade out. But some of these stars, like the larger stars in the galaxies and in the universe, those stars have kind of a massive explosion after they die off. And that's known as a supernova. You've probably heard of supernovas before. There are large explosions of stars when they start to die. And these supernovas can have a lot of energy. I'm telling you, a lot of energy. It can have more energy than the sun produces in a lifetime. And that is a lot of heat and pressure and energy. In fact, these supernovas can be so massive that they can vibrate other parts of space and time. Isn't that wild? Yeah. But anyway, back to these supernovas. These supernovas release a lot of energy, but at the same time, they release all the outer layers of the star. Basically, the core of the star gets so heavy that it collapses in on itself, and that creates a large outburst of energy which eats away at the layers outside of the star and just blows it all up. It is just amazing to visualize something that blowing up like that. But these supernovas are kind of are like seeds because when they explode, it's left over lots of stardust and everything. And from that, actually, new stars can form. But more importantly, new elements have already formed. You know why I told you that stars are basically stellar factories? Well, all those things are exploded out during a supernova. And all that carbon or all that iron and hydrogen and helium, all those gases and different elements, they all come together to form planets, other stars, and eventually Earth and humans and all life on Earth. All that carbon in our body, that's all come from stars. The iron in our blood also comes from stars. The water, even water, the hydrogen and the oxygen in water, those all come from stars. It's kind of mind blowing because you wouldn't expect water to come from stars, right? Well, it doesn't come as exactly water. Since it's so much heat and pressure, it's able to fuse together atoms and molecules, which are the teeny tiny itsy bitsy building blocks of everything. But when they fuse these together, they create different elements, and it's just mind blowing to think about it because these supernovas create all of these things around us, like iron, even like things in our blood and things in our body. It is just amazing to think about that. we all come from stars, and it literally come from stars, because all of these things that make us up, and even things around us like the earth, or like plastic and this microphone, or anything else, it's all comes from stars, because they're the stellar nurseries or the stellar factories that create all these elements around us. It is just mind-blowing to think about it. Alright, before I go look at some more stars, let's review what we learned in this episode. In this episode, we learned that we're all made of stars, and that's because these stars are basically element factories and they make all these elements. And when they explode into supernovas, which are large explosions, what that happens when stars start to die, that releases all these elements and compounds and everything into space. And over time, that happens more and more often, and that creates different planets, the other stars, and even life, like humans and bacteria and plants. And like the carbon inside of our bodies and the iron inside of us, everything, that's all made of actually elements that were originally created in stars. It's just mind-blowing to think about it. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Spectacular Science. Spectacular Science is produced and hosted by me, Akshay J. Raman. Our theme song and additional music are by Charan Ramachandran. Visit my podcast website, spectacularsci.com, to find interactive activities, articles, blog posts, and all of our episodes. That's spectacularsci.com. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening right now. It really encourages me, and you'll be up to date on all the new episodes that are going to come out in this brand new season. Trust me, you'll really want to see the new episodes that are going to be coming out. So don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe and share this podcast with your friends and family. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of Spectacular Science next week. Keep thinking about science.